Any members of the audience want to come in on this? Does anybody agree with the strikes that are happening now? Yes, at the back there.
Academics are at the forefront of kind of technology advancements and scientific development. And think about what they've given the world and this country in terms of economic development.
You haven't met my lecturers then.
Okay. Well, maybe not
Geography.
maybe not kind of more science. Surely they should kind of what they've given to this country, that they should kind of be given what they want. You know what I mean?
I think £62,000 is very good reparation for lecturing 1 hour for a couple of students.
Well, it's not
£62,000 a year.
It's not just the lecturing though, it's the economic development that they get from the advancements in technology from it. Like, we wouldn't have had the internet if it wasn't for academics. You know? And think about what the internet has done for our society.
Felicity, do you want to...
Well, just academics don't just work within the public sector, and especially within technology, they do have the options to go into the private sector and work in the same areas for better remuneration. I do think your point that they're giving a lot to society is valid, especially in areas that people might often criticise where the value is, like philosophy, like the humanities. We do still need those contributions, but with technology I feel it's less valid because they could be getting better remuneration elsewhere. They've chosen to go into the public sector as a vocation. They have chosen that in exchange for reduced remuneration.
But they chose to come into the public sector to teach people like us, to pass on their knowledge. And surely that is more kind of invaluable than going into the public sector, private sector.
Not economically, they're not producing as much. Like, there isn't as much value. No, but there's not as much value that they're giving in the short term. Obviously, in the medium to long term, they're moulding young minds.
This depends how you're judging value.
And to the university as an entity which is paying them. Like, if you want to, I don't quite know how. I think the sentiment is very understandable. I don't know how you could make it work in reality. To give, like, it's particularly the term, give them what they want.
You know what
All right, yeah, Joe, do you want to say?
So the value to society, I think, is often more important than the value to Durham University. We see it in other areas as well. We see where sort of doctors and nurses in the NHS are not being paid enough and do not feel valued. So they're just leaving this country. They're going off to Australia, they're going off to other parts of Europe. So you can't just say, well, if you don't like it, go to the private sector, because we need these lecturers in these universities and we need doctors and nurses in our NHS.
Does anybody disagree with the strikes? I'd like to... Yes, Dan?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I think there's some confusion here that anybody finds this to be a favourable outcome. Nobody finds this to be a favourable outcome.
No.
But £7.5 billion, that might go missing under the Labour government, but that's not something that we just want to throw away. This is a lot of money. Nobody wants anyone to suffer for this. But if we just carry on as we are, that's going to get bigger. And it's only going to escalate. And then where you're left 10 billion, 20 billion, and it's just going to keep going, and this money's just going to disappear. So, yes, we're looking in the mid to long term, and we would like to look in the short term. We have to be able to think practically and sensibly about this. And as Ben said, the options are either students suffer, and nobody wants that here, I assume. Taxpayers suffer, which nobody wants. So the only option is that people are reasonably well off have to take a small hit.
Some universities have been spending in an inefficient way. Like, there was a report.
Some.
There was a big report last year on the amount universities have spent since fees were increased on buildings, but what are called prestige buildings, like massive amounts on architects' fees and stuff like that. And if I was a lecturer being told my pension was being cut when masses were being spent on projects for prestige, that would annoy me a lot.
That isn't something,
Yeah.
and I agree that this university as well, I'm very fully aware, buying priceless paintings
Yeah.
and hiding them beneath the Palestine Centre seems like a disastrous waste of money. But on a national scale, I think, particularly just thinking about the amount of money that's being lost.
Yes, sir? Would you like to say something?
I was just wondering, as students, should we be showing solidarity to our lecturers by refusing to cross picket lines, or should we try to behave as if it's business as usual? I was just wondering what each of the panelists thought about that.
Hugo, do you want to start?
Oh, why me again? Well, it depends on your private relationship with the lecturer, I assume. So I would go and consult with the striking lecturer and ask for advice, because it's not something I can think. I am no striking lecturer. I never worked as a lecturer, so I don't know exactly what one would say. I personally plan to keep going to lectures, and if one lecturer doesn't show up at my lecture, well, I'll just go home. I won't think twice about it. There's other things I can do in the meantime, and of course, walking down from Charlesgate to the city centre is not pleasurable, but then
Ben?
worse crimes against humanity have been committed. That is not one of them. Thank you.
I think students are perfectly entitled if they want to go and stand on the picket line, if they want to cross the picket line, but personally I'll be at home doing the work that I'm trying to catch up on that I've been disadvantaged by lecturers not being in lectures teaching or being what they're paid, not doing what they're being paid to do.
Take a walk.
Well, I would say that they're not being paid to do it when they're on strike because they don't get paid. I think we should not only not cross the picket line, but actually join our lecturers in striking. We've seen it, yeah, this time it's lecturers and also McDonald's staff at the moment. In previous eras, it's been miners. I think we all need to show solidarity with people in society who are being treated very badly indeed.
I can't say it's surprising to see Joe. Joe's a member of Dulce, a member of the
It's not
Labour
surprising
Party.
to see me because it's a politics event at the tip.
It's not surprising at all when you learn that the UCU, the University and Colleges Union, is a member of the TUC, who's donated £27 million to run their election campaign. So
I don't think you can accuse Joe of personal bias.
no, party bias.
Oh.
Easily in the hands of the unions and playing to their tune.
£1 billion for the DUP, but we can kind of leave it.
Okay, with that, I think we'll move on to the next question.